Thank you all very much for taking time out to listen to what we had to share, both in terms of the critical importance of hyperlocal visibility and marketing and engagement in this new age for brands, both small and big, right? And what are the best practices that many companies have adopted and that have succeeded in achieving their goals for reaching out to consumers who are on the cusp of a purchase decision, right? So I want to take you through a few slides that will, I hope at the end of it, you not only understand the importance of hyperlocal marketing, and that's perhaps the reason you are here today, but also we hope to leave you with certain insights and certain technical expertise of what it takes to succeed and triumph in this one. So having said that, I want to share with you my screen and yeah, I hope can one of you confirm that you are
Yes,
able to see
yes,
my
we
screen?
can see it. We can see it,
Yeah.
Satya sir.
All right. Great. So the first thing is the why has hyperlocal, which we did not care about, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, has suddenly become such an important aspect of marketing overall, right? Which is that 80% of consumers start by searching for a product, a business, or a service online before they make a purchase decision, right? But it is important to note that a defining differentiation when compared to the audience of any other medium is that the search audience starts with a purchase intent, right? Only when you have a need for something, you lean forward and say, I'm looking for something near me. The second thing is it is an astonishing number. There are 700 crore searches every month in India alone for businesses, products, and services with a keyword near me, either inferred or directly put. That means that 700 crore times a month in India, people are starting their purchase process by searching for things online for products, business, and services in the vicinity of where they're living. And this number has been growing at the rate of about 40 to 50% per year for the last 4 months. It is by far the most valuable and impactful audience, and I will share with you why it is so. And the last one is this is and because it is free, it's highly addressable, it's fast growing audience. This is the reason why hyperlocal just 4 years ago, that is before COVID, the 700 crore searches was less than 100 crores. This is how much it has grown in the last 4 years, right? The search audience, as I said, is the most valuable audience anywhere for four reasons. One is it is there is a purchase intent. Even other audiences on digital media, for example, Instagram or LinkedIn or somewhere else, people don't go to this media, and including, of course, the offline media such as TV, radio, newspaper, hoardings. Nobody goes to them with a purchase intent, but they go to them with a different intent of being either educated, informed, or entertained for something else. And all advertising is to interrupt that attention, to grab that attention, right? To make them want to purchase what you want to sell, right? There is a hearing aid company called Anvi, for example, and other things, which take out a full page ad in Times of India. But if you can just imagine, out of 1,000 people who are reading a newspaper or watching what you're holding, how many have the need for a hearing aid, right? Maybe 0.1%. But when somebody types into their Google or Bing or anywhere else, hearing aid stores near me, near 100% have a need for a hearing aid, right? That is the difference between 0.1% and 100% of a purchase intent. Second thing to note is every other medium, including, for example, Instagram, Facebook, Google itself, where you buy AdWords, you have to pay to capture the attention of that audience, which does not have a purchase intent. But for a search audience, you pay zero cost, right? You don't have to pay anything because it is a gift that keeps on giving, right? Every day, if you master the process of search audience, right? Third is it's actionable. When you read a newspaper, you don't know who it is that is looking at your ad. But a lot of times, about 60% of the people who search and engage with you will get to know who they are, right? Because from their phone number or from their ID on the chat or other things, so you can talk back with them. Right? And the lastly, it is continuous. It is perennial, means it's a river that keeps flowing 24/7 by 365. People are always searching, right? So it's hyperlocal. There is a purchase intent. There is a zero cost. You can address it, and it is all round the clock that you keep getting prospects for the service on this one, right? It is for this reason why we assert that marketeers, especially marketeers of today, right, must leave everything else and first try to master hyperlocal and capture their fair share of the search audiences, right? And the customer expectations have changed completely. Looking for a product or service for a locality, the first thing is people search online for a store near me. That's only the first phase of it. Immediately after the first phase, it translates into researching online, either about the company or about the product or about the service. If you're looking to stay at a holiday resort, you research holiday resorts online. If you want to buy a fridge, you research buying a fridge online, right? If you want to buy a coaching center, for example, you research for it online. Is it a good one to buy or not? Then you also want to engage with them online. Engage with them online means you don't want to, for example, um, go there and visit them first or talk to them first. You want to chat with them and ask them questions, right? For example, you may say that, do you have, um, would you provide free parking near your store? Is there a free parking near your store? Or do you provide free breakfast with a holiday resort stay? There's a lot of questions consumers have before they do it. And once they do all these things, then the transaction happens offline, right? So this entire process goes to this process, and it ends with transaction happening offline. For all the hoopla and all the excitement about online commerce, close to 90% of commerce still happens offline. It's only 10% that happens online. So majority of commerce happens offline. Majority of the spending of consumers happen within a 10-kilometer radius of where they live. So most of the action still is offline, but most of the research and the exploration before it ends an offline transaction happens online. This is the challenge that we have before to be able to grow this one, right? So why do brands fail to capture this audience, right? They capture all this audience for this reason, right? Which is, let's take one brand. Let us take, for example, is a hair salon, right? One of our clients has a hair salon. They got 750 salons across the country. There are others who have like 3,000 local branches where people go. There are NBFCs. Each of these offline salon or a store or a branch or a bank has got a digital representation. It's a manifestation of their local presence, which is online presence, which is what you call a listing. It's a search engine listing. It's a local business listing. A local business listing, if you can imagine, is like your digital hoarding that is there on the internet, right? It is your hoarding that can flash whatever you want to flash. So why do brands fail to capture? And when people search for something, the search engines select 4 or 5 of these and showcase to the audience these hoardings, right? And why do you succeed or fail in your hoarding being there and your hoarding communicating what you want to communicate to the hyperlocal audience? Because for several reasons. One is you have not gone and claimed your listing. You are not identified as the rightful owner, because all the search engines have grown through crowdsourcing, which is they depended on users generating these business listings because the brand owners did not care about it 4 years ago. So now search engines look for, the reason why your hoardings, your digital hoardings, which are these listings, are not showcased is for these reasons. One is you are not claimed yourself as the official owner of these listings. It is just somebody created it. It's just hanging around, right? And the reason is if you don't appear in the top 4 results when somebody is searching for your category, then you essentially don't exist, because their consideration set will be those 4 stores or those 4 banks or those 4 salons that the search engines showcase, saying that these are the 4 you should consider, because the search engines are saying, I will showcase to my audience, my users, the 4 best stores. And a lot of times brands stores fail to show up for these reasons. One is they are not the rightful owner. Even if they're rightful owner, the information that is presented there is inaccurate. And even if you can see here, this is your hoarding, and you can put your logo, you can put your store image, but because you have not taken care of this listing, some random thing shows up. A cow sitting in front of a tree, it shows up instead of your logo, right? Fake listings. Fake listings could be either duplicate listings created by your ex-employees or some user or a malicious competitor, right? Somebody who is abusing your brand, who has hijacked your brand and created a listing, and the consumers go and call that person, that branch, and go and buy it from them, thinking it is you, right? Unoptimized listings. When we say unoptimized listings, for example, let us say you're a bank. One of the most popular search phrases from which people look for bank services is called loan against property. When the user types loan against property, if your listing does not say that you offer loan against property, then your listing doesn't show up because it doesn't match the search intent, right? Unloved listings, where there is no reviews and ratings, the consumers don't love you and you don't love them back. How do you show your love to them back? That when somebody posts a review, you acknowledge it, you respond to it, you thank them for it, or you express your regret that they didn't have a good experience. But the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference, right? So when you're indifferent, when you don't respond to it, that is another ding against you, and your listings don't show up. Right? Duplicate listings. There are multiple of this listing taking away traffic. Inactive listings. You don't protect your listings, leave that alone. You don't keep them active by sharing on your digital hoarding that this is what I do. This is the new services I'm offering. These are new products I've done. right? New services I have come up with. So these are all the reasons why algorithmically the search engines, when they decide who to showcase, they do not choose your listings because of these reasons. Even if in the physical world you are a top brand, a very highly regarded brand, it doesn't matter, because the search engines only algorithmically determine which is a good business, and a good business is one that solves all these issues and takes care of all these issues. Smartly optimized listings. This is Google data. If you have good, smartly optimized listings, the 700 crore searches, you get your share, your fair share. And if if luck smiles well of you, you get an unfair share of your traffic, right? Disproportionate share, right? And this share converts at a different level, at a different degree than traffic anywhere else. If you have optimized listings, 2.7 times more likely to be considered reputable, 70% more likely to attract location visits, and 50% more likely to rate a purchase. This is across the country, the average numbers. So any which way, not only you get a higher proportion of the traffic, you will also get a better conversion of those traffic into actual purchasing customers, right? So one case study of a brand, Shiram Transport, right? They did all this stuff in terms of primary categories, secondary categories, classes of services, attributes. Systematically, we went and made sure everything is thing, and the kind of growth that they have seen in direct searches, discovery searches, website clicks, direction visits, phone calls, right? 4x, 3x, 5x increases that they've seen, only because they have just made sure the listings are accurate, they're rich, they're active, and there is love on the listings. Right. This is another example of another city union bank. They previously they had no control over these listings, and some random images. So as I told you, a cow in front of a tree used to be there, but now because they control their listings, they are effectively using their hoardings, digital hoardings, to present their services. Like when they had a new FD, 7.4%, right? Sorry, 7.4%, they put this. Something that's called a keychain debit card, they flash this one. Sometimes they have a BBPS using paying their bills, they push this one. Tens and thousands of people saw these services that they're doing, and these are search intent. These are people with a purchase intent. When they had news, they were able to present the news. When they had a new ad, they were able to promote the new ad. All for what price? Zero. They didn't have to pay 1 rupee in media costs, because they're effectively taking control and managing smartly and wisely the real estate, the digital real estate that belongs to them. It is their real estate, right? So what determines ranking and visibility, right? What determines, the first thing is whether the listing and the content in your listing that represents your physical store matches the search intent of the user. For example, if the user is saying, as I mentioned to you, loan against property, does your listing say that it offers loan against property? Most banks do. Most NBFCs do, right? And so to be able to match, you have to make sure that all the services you are providing are captured smartly using the specific structure, which is the primary categories, secondary categories, attributes, and so on and so forth of this. That's the first one, right? Second one is proximity. While it is true that you really can't help, I mean, you are where you are, right? You can't move a store because of this one. Wherever you are, But there are things you can do in the listing by saying, I serve these localities. For example, my City Union Bank on MG Road in Bangalore, right? It serves these service areas, these localities. To mention those things in the listing will help you get discovered better when people from those localities are looking for a bank near me, right? Authority is, there are multiple aspects to authority of a listing. Whether the listing, it has all the complete information, whether it provides the things, whether it's handicap access friendly, COVID friendly, what kind of payment methods it accepts. Does it have a website link? Does it have a phone number? Does it have a proper address? All these things contribute to what you call authority of a listing of a business. Then there is activity both in terms of people using the listing to reach out to you in the physical world, and you using the listing to promote and the services that you're offering, right? Sometimes it's mind-boggling that there are brands that spend money to reaching out to digital audience everywhere, right? And which you don't have purchase intent, while neglecting to showcase those services on their own listings that they own for free, right? So that is the irony of the situation. And you have to work towards how to improve reviews and ratings. And you also have to improve about how to respond to them meaningfully and quickly. Meaningfully means you can't say for everything, for all the positive ratings, you can't say, oh, thank you very much for your positive rating. We are happy that you like those services. It is the same routine response that gets posted. Or if somebody posts a negative review, say, we regret that you had a bad service, we'll work on it. No. Search platforms expect you to meaningfully respond to the reviews and to quickly respond to reviews. Just doing that, getting greater number of flow of positive reviews and responding to the reviews will dramatically improve your search ranking and visibility. Dramatically. Citations are, while it is true that Google has, a lion's share of the search traffic, about 90% or so, the ranking on Google is determined by where else you are present, number one, which is called a citation support. The second one is whether the information that you have provided to Google, for example, is identical to the information that exists on these other sites, right? So what do you call the citation equivalence? So these are the things you have to ensure to capture that 700 crore people who are looking to buy and who don't have you in the top of the mind recall as a brand, but they're just looking for the category. Right? Gold loan near me is a category search. It's not a brand search because the consumer at that point doesn't have a specific brand but he has a need for it. He's open. That is your blue ocean of opportunity to tap. When that person is on the cusp of a purchase decision and has not made up his mind about which brand to use, that is the audience you have to crack to be able to grow, right? And this is also the thing is, this is also an important thing, because you not only right, improve visibility, right? Your brand is protected. Your brand smells like a rose. It looks appealing, alluring to want to interact with. It also gets showcased a lot more because you rank very high in terms of the optimization index, high visibility, then high engagement, because the listing is enriched, it's accurate, it's comprehensive, it has offers, it has other things. Consumers who see you will want to engage with you, right? And you will have superior conversion because people will engage with you. They will interact with you in terms of phone calls, in terms of website visits, map downloads, and all these things, right? And you'll also have an opportunity to upsell because when they engage with you via chat or via phone call, that is the time when you can explain to them that there are better services, better products that they can buy. So all these things have what you call a sequential, multiplicative, amplifying effect on this, right? Suppose if we have a 20% increase in visibility, 20% increase in engagement, 20% increase in conversion, 1.2 times 1.2 times 1.2, that is the 70% increase in customers that you would get just by doing this. And at what cost? Zero. Because there is no cost. It's all organic, right? So the things that we should look at is, one is protecting the brand in the eyes of the most valuable audience there is there anywhere, right? And significantly increasing the engagement opportunities by ensuring discoverability across platforms. Number one. Number two is to significantly enhance the volume and quality of reviews and ratings and respond to them meaningfully and quickly. Significantly improve the quality of engagement with both prospects and customers efficiently and effectively. The last one is many brands are doing today, many companies are doing, is, of course, this is important. Yes, this is important. Yes, this is important. The real kicker comes when you integrate this ecosystem with your internal CRM, with your internal LMS. So it's a seamless flow through that happens, and you can track these conversions, because not only you'll see that the value is higher in terms of the marketing value that you get, but you'll also see that actual transformation into business growth, right? So the reason lot of brand custodians such as all of you have not attended to this is not because they are negligent custodians of the brand. It is because it is difficult to do this by throwing people at the problem. What we mean is that, if you have, let us say, 500 outlets, right? Each branch has got 70 variables to manage, and you have five platforms, right? So that is about 35,000, right? 35,000 times 5 times, that's about 1,75,000 data points that you got to manage. This problem is further complicated because a lot of times search platforms which have been built on user generated content change these things, the listings, by allowing users to change phone numbers, allowing users to change addresses, allowing users to change the names, allowing users to also change the status of the store. It is possible that 4 or 5 people acting in concert can make the SBI, State Bank of India office in South Bombay, say, temporarily closed, right? And there are a lot of things that can happen that will constantly changing this. And if we have, let us say, 1,200 reviews that are coming in, and if we enable GMB chat, which you can do today, and you can allow people to chat with you through Google Maps, right? And you have 2,800 chats happening, which is happening today for some of the companies we are working with, hundreds of chats a day, right? Now, on your own, it is impossible by doing it without tech, because you need to be on that listing to know that there is a chat happening on that listing. So you need to have an army of people to be able to do that, right? So both managing the listings, optimizing them, know across multiple platforms, managing reputation, reviews and ratings, managing digital engagement such as chats, All these things become extraordinarily cumbersome and complex and impossible unless you adopt technology and AI, right? And you can see this one, right? You have completeness and accuracy of these listings, supportive citations and optimization, ensuring flux and responsiveness and reviews and ratings, which is what will determine this portfolio ranking, right? And doing this across multiple platforms is where the challenge is, because it just cannot be done, right? And this is where it makes sense to invest in the tech and AI. AI means, for example, we need to have a way in which to be able to show that a particular profile of a listing, how well is it indexed on the hyperlocal search platforms for them to be ranked high? How would you know that? Hmm. You need to have AI to be able to say, to calculate, to reverse engineer the search algorithms to say, okay, this particular listing has got a rating of, let us say out of 1 to 100, a rating of 45. That means that it is 45% good. And you will lose out to a profile of a competitor which has got a rating of 80%, right? So how do you determine these ratings? For that, you need AI that seeks to simulate how the search algorithms behave and come back and give you a physical report saying that this listing has got these issues. This listing has got reviews that have not been responded. This listing is the NAP values are not synced across platforms, or there are no inside photos. Operating hours are missing, right? And that you got to do it for 500 stores, how many your locations you have. Once you do that, all these things will increase. Search ranking will increase, profile views increase, phone calls will increase. But this effort is a worthwhile effort to take because initially it is very difficult. But if you do it well, it is a gift that keeps on giving because you will profit from it every single day and paying nothing, zero, right? So if we believe that the single metric for any business to succeed is LTV over CAC, which is lifetime value of a customer divided by the customer acquisition cost, search platforms will deliver to you a customer acquisition cost that is a 1/5 to 1/10 the cost, the CAC that you get from anywhere else. We know, for example, in the NBFC industry, if they were to pay money to get on any medium, it would be between 150 rupees to 400 rupees. On search, they get it for 35 rupees because they don't pay, right? So that is the importance of using deploying technology and AI, and to have API integration to the search platforms, right? If you don't have API integration to Google, API integration to Bing, API integration to other search platforms like Facebook and WhatsApp, you will not be able to manage this at scale. So say, suppose you are like in the case of City Union Bank, tomorrow they increase the FD rates to 8.2%. And they want to tell the world, come to me because you get the best FD rates. Now, how will they broadcast this to 750 of their listings across multiple platforms? You can't have people go to each one and upload it, right? 750 times 5, 3 platforms, 4 platforms, that's 3,000, right? What API integration and tech will do is you upload it, that image, and you click once, and because of API integration, it will automatically update this listing across all the 750 listings, 750 branches across all the platforms in one click. And that's the power you have to be able to do that. And if the reviews coming, they'll all come in automatically into one place from where you can respond. If there are chats coming, they'll all come into one interface from where you can respond. From there, you can use AI to analyze the sentiment, right? To analyze the sentiment of these things. So there's a lot that can be done. So what we can start, what we can offer you is at no obligation to use our services or platform, nothing. You can get a free hyperlocal audit for your brand. There are two things that we'll do. One is to do a profile health check for your listings by doing NAP check, which is a name, address, phone number check, 50 plus data elements, primary category, secondary category. It's like a physical checkup. It's a health physical checkup that you do your X-ray, your abdominal scan, and all these other things, cholesterol check and so on. It's exactly like that. It'll come and give you a report that says that this is what is lacking in the digital listings. That's one. The second thing we'll do is we'll also provide you with analytics of in your category across zones and cities, how many searches are there for your brand, how many searches are there for competing brands, how many searches are there for the category where there is no brand mention, which are the top keywords that people are using to search for services in your domain, and what is your share of the category searches. Suppose if there are 20,000, right, and you get only 220, we'll tell you that, right? So we encourage you to reach out to us, and this is no obligation. You can end up using doing it yourself or doing others, but we'll help you with understanding where you stand today. And this can be done within 24 hours to about 48 hours because we have the technology and the AI to analyze all these things and give you a wonderful report that will tell you where you stand. And then you can decide how you want to go about doing it, right? Please reach out to my colleague, Ms. Rifa, and this is her email address, and this is her WhatsApp number. You can also put your, if you're interested in this one, you can put it in the chat, and somebody from our team will reach out to you. And again, there is no obligation to use our service. There is no cost to this, but it will give you a sense of where you stand today vis-a-vis your competition, where you stand today in terms of your ability to capture the search audience. And this we have done for, this we are actually providing this the 4 services of reputation management chat for over 50 brands all across the country, and many of them I'm sure you recognize them: Apollo Pharmacy, Domino's, DHL, Titan, Indian Terrain, Cafe Coffee Day, Naturals, Carrot Lane, Chayos, India One, Fed Bank. So a lot of them. So, but whether my thing I would say is whether you do it on your own, whether you choose users or use somebody else, that's a second order issue, really. The first order issue is for the organizations to wake up and saying there's a tremendous blue ocean of opportunity waiting to be tapped. And it is coming with you with a purchase intent and coming with you with no particular brand in mind. If you don't capture that, I don't know what you'll capture, right? So our suggestion is it is not easy, but that it's not that difficult also. If you have the right tech and right integration with all such platforms, you'll be able to see the growth almost instantly. We are talking a month, 2 months, you can start seeing the growth, and for which you'll pay nothing, right? So thank you very much, and I will I will yield my floor to the organizer.
Yes, thank you so much for your insightful session. Yes, I would request attendees, if you have any questions, you can hand raise or you can unmute yourself. We have just unmute. Mitali, you can unmute yourself, dear.
Lovely. Thank you. Hi,
Hi.
Satya. I have a quick
Hi.
question
Yeah.
for which I also have a follow-up question. So the first thing is you mentioned that 90% of the products that are bought offline. Is there a relevant source for that information or?
Yeah, we will send it to you. We'll send it to you. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
And
we'll send it.
also it'll be great if you could add what is the kind of audience that you're talking about. Like what sec of audience, what income group are you referring to? Who are the ones who actually buy offline? That'll be
Sure.
great.
We'll take a note of it. We'll send that information to you for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, we have Balaji Mukund.
So I think here we are talking about most of the use cases where the industry is offline. I mean, what are the case studies for say online or process for the online industry where we are doing a digital business and how we can use this hyperlocal?
This hyperlocal is the one way in which this can be done is because this most representation right now is about how people find products and services near to where they are, because the comfort is still in trying to find local sellers, local vendors, local businesses from where people can buy from. But oftentimes, what you can do is uh, you can have a microsite for each of those local listings, which is specific to that particular location. And that is the URL to which you will link the GMB listing. That is a Google listing, right? That appears on Google because the Google listing has got a website link, and the website link links to a microsite that is specific to that particular store. In that store, you can showcase other offers and other things that people can buy through your online store, right? Because that microsite is owned by you, it is controlled by you, it is designed by you. So you can, from there, you can lead people to buy things online. That would be of value. Yeah.
Would you just help me with some case study how this was done and what how did it help the business?
Case study, for example, I will showcase one to you. Uh,
You could just send it to.
no, I will show it to you online so that you can see
Yeah.
it online, right? Right. So, for example, this is one of our clients, and so this is a microsite that is created for Gauri Vakam in Velachery in one city. So here you can showcase things, for example, forex money transfer. This thing can lead to online from there. They can do that. So this is all of their services, product ads, and other things, their social media methods, their online channels, which areas they're served. This is supremely well optimized for this, right? Gold loans and are frequently asked questions. So this is one case where you can actually they can get their social feeds, right, and so on and so forth. So this is one example of where you can create a microsite that is specific to each listing, each location listing, and from there you can on that microsite you can showcase your online products, online services that people can buy.
Any data you have which says how it helped them?
Yeah, what we can do in the interest of time, if you can just share your phone number in the chat, somebody from my team will set up a, let's say, 15-minute session with you to share the data and to share the examples of other case studies where this has been done.
Sure.
But
Thanks.
this microsite is, I'll tell you, it's astonishingly powerful in terms of capturing local audience. Astonishingly powerful.
Thanks, Sachin. I'll connect with you.
Yeah.
Yes, we have one more question in the chat box by Mr. Rajiv Ranjan. He says, prerequisite is knowing consumer behavior. How does one know this before going hyperlocal?
Sorry, just let me. Prerequisite.
The question is
Um,
prerequisite is
it is
knowing consumer
not.
behavior.
It's not actually. Maybe it's the question is should be reversed. What I mean is that it's not you going hyper local. You're already hyper local. In the sense, if you are a brand that sells through offline stores, you are hyper local by definition, right? You're not deciding to go hyper local. All we are saying is that because the transaction in the offline store or the branch or a bank starts with online research and online discovery, all we are saying is that it is imperative for you to master the stage of exploration by consumers and prospects that precedes the purchase offline. And almost all of it is happening online right now, right? So once you optimize that and you are discovered by consumers and prospects, that in that interaction is where you'll get to know the consumer behavior, because people will talk to you. People will say to you, hey, I'm looking for a fridge where the freezer is below and not above, right? That is consumer understanding, consumer need. And also there's no one consumer, right? Every prospect is different. But the consumer behavior is this. Across the board, discovery starts online, exploration starts online, engagement starts online, analysis and evaluation happens online, leading to offline purchase. That's the case.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll take one last question. We have Mr.
No,
Aditya. Aditya, you
actually,
can unmute yourself.
actually, I would not put a limit, because those who can't stay long can log off, but I can stay as long as it takes to answer whatever questions they are. Right. Yeah. Who's next? Who else can answer?
Mr. Aditya has some.
Mr. Aditya?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Well, my question is primarily regarding the tracking part, because we are part of the business which is primarily hyperlocal and in roughly 16 cities. So how do we track who is actually engaging with our GMB,
Sure.
clicking on the directions and other options, visiting our shop or centers without asking for their information? So how do we marry these two data points?
Sure. The two data points, as I mentioned, you can't track all of them, but in our estimate, about 60% of them you can identify who they are, because one is people either call you or either chat with you, or they download your map location and come to your store or your location. The fourth one is they click on a website and go there, right? So website, I showed you how it goes to a microsite, and in the microsite, you can have a form from which people share their information. That's how you get to know. Either you can ask them to set up an appointment, you can ask them to leave their information about so that people can call them back. So various ways in which you can ask them to leave a footprint on the microsite. When they call, when you put a business virtual number instead of your actual physical number, the business virtual number will track who is calling, the caller ID, which PIN code they are calling from. We can infer that, and and you can know what time they called. You can record the call. You can you can analyze the call. That's another way you can do that. And third one is when they chat. Again, you will know the identity of who is chatting, because Google will share with you, and Bing will share with you the identity of the user who is chatting with you. You may not know their phone number, but you can chat back with them through the chat. But you can, of course, in the chat conversation, you can ask them for their phone number, and you can OTP verify the phone number. Then subsequently, because the chat ID of the consumer, of the prospect, is unique, you can then tie that phone number to that chat ID. From then on, you know who the user is, right? So in this one, in this hyperlocal platform, about 60% of the people, you will know who they are. And it's fantastic, because that becomes your captive audience, right? And you can continue to engage with them because there's no cost, right? Imagine the power. If you say you are in 16 cities, let us say you have 200 branches, 300 branches or locations or stores, and you have over a year cultivated, let us say 15 lakh people who have engaged with you. Now they won't buy your product or service only once. Quite likely they are repeat buyers, and you can engage with them using custom slices, micro slices, right? And talk to them specifically by name. You can do that. You can say, dear Anita Sinha, this is the first anniversary of the first time you shopped with us. On this occasion, we're giving you this, right? So you can cut that slice of people who have been with you for a year. You can say International Women's Day. You can identify all the women and send a specific offer to them, whatever you want to define it, right? So that's where you can do that.
Great.
So you can, yeah, it's truly fantastic because only two avenues which are free of cost. One is the search audience, as we explained to you in the presentation. The second free channel of marketing is talking to your own base. But to talk to your own base, first you have to cultivate that base. You have to augment that captive database.
Yeah, Varun has question. 1 second, Varun.
Hi, Satya.
Yeah, you can.
Hi,
Uh,
Varun.
So, Satya, one thing, at least what we have noticed, I work with this company called LiveSpace, Satya.
Okay.
We're a home interior design firm.
Of course.
Yeah. What we have noticed is, right, most of the searches, at least is an assumption, we don't have data to prove it, is that most of the customers who come to our GMB page are customers who are already aware of the brand.
Yes.
Right, and then they come predominantly for direction to the stores, right? We have multiple experience centers, so they use it more for navigation, right? But as you mentioned earlier, right, how do I but if you look at the overall category search, right, keywords, there are multiple category search keywords, right? Interior design near me, modular kitchen near me, for example, in my category, right? How do we attract that volume to our GMB page?
That's the holy grail. That's
Yeah.
the holy grail in the sense that what you just mentioned, that most of the people who are coming to your profile are people who already are aware of the brand.
Yeah.
And they're looking to get the directions, which is, I'm sorry, I don't know enough about LiveSpace, and we can, if we want to do a custom audit, we can definitely do that.
Sure.
But that is the problem I think LiveSpace may be having, which is, see, when somebody types in LiveSpace store or experience center near me,
Mm-hmm.
for you to figure in that, that's easy. I mean,
Yeah.
automatically you'll figure because that is the search intent of the user. He's looking for you.
Correct.
And the search engines will show you. That is not, that's not where the action is, in my opinion.
Mm.
It is useful in the sense somebody looking for LiveSpace and they find you.
Mm.
The real thing is for every one guy who's looking for LiveSpace, I can almost guarantee it.
Mm.
There would be between 20 to 100 people who are looking for the category, but do not have LiveSpace in the top of the mind recall. That is where your action is. That's what you must catch.
Oh, got it.
Because for that, they are not putting LiveSpace in that search box, right? They're saying interior decorator near me.
Correct.
You must appear there, and that's where you will see the organic growth, and that can be, I can tell you, that's music. That's music to the ears. Is beautiful.
And you offer services to optimize GMB pages for that, I'm guessing.
Correct. Yeah, that's what it is.
Got it.
And
Thanks.
whether how you do it, I think Varun is as I mentioned, the second order issue, but the recognition that the blue ocean is in the category search, and you must get your share of that category search. I think it starts with that. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Satya.
Sure.
All right. With this, thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's session. Looking forward to host you all again. Stay happy and stay safe. And thank you so much, Satya sir and Varun sir, for giving us your beautiful insights and for taking your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Palak. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.